Yeah, probably the right here. Oh, I've got so much hair. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. Where's the camera? Oh, that's the camera. Right, okay. Okay. So I'm looking actually at that screen. I think I am. How's that then? Oh, hi, Carrie. A little bit nervous. Okay. Terrific. Okay, no worries. Thank you.
I'm not sure what you'd like me to do. Would you like me to switch over to INC?
Yeah, you can switch over to either E in the studio. We'll let you know when you get it, when the time is.
Copy that.
Well, it was terrible, actually. It was quite barbaric. My experience of losing my child in the hospital was I was very heavily sedated with mind-altering barbiturates, sodium amytal, sodium pentobarbital. This is days prior to the birth. Then the birth was induced, so it was extraordinarily painful. And on delivering my daughter, she wasn't breathing, so I tried to reach up to get her, and I had 3 nurses push me back down on the bed, and a midwife, I believe, at the end of the bed said, "This has got nothing to do with you." And then I was given another 200 milligrams of sodium pentobarbital, which knocked me out, and also a synthetic carcinogenic hormone to dry up the milk so I wouldn't ever be able to feed my baby. And then I was taken without my permission to an annex miles away from the hospital, so there was no way I could access my baby. So I've never seen my baby's face.
Christine, that's a story almost too horrible to believe. You're not suggesting, are you, that this has happened in a lot of cases? I mean, the apology today from the Royal Women seems to be in an entirely different spirit than what you're talking about.
Well, I've done research. I'm actually doing a PhD on this topic, and I've interviewed women right across Australia, and the experience that I had is happened to other mothers right across Australia. And it's really, to call it forced adoption in a way is mislabelling what happened. It was really human and civil rights abuses that happened to mothers and their infants prior to them giving birth. Excuse me, I'll just put in this earpiece back in.
That's fine. We'll edit it out. No one will even know. Just keep going. You're fine.
Okay. So, yes, as a matter of fact, this happened right across Australia, and my research indicates it was an assimilation policy by the Australian government, where single mothers and their children were considered racially inferior. And the 20 20% of Aboriginal mothers had the same experience as we did in the hospitals, having their babies taken under the same laws by the same people, same social workers, doctors, nurses, etc. And they have been apologised to, and that's why we set up the Apology Alliance, because we felt marginalised and left out, excluded from being apologised to, when really we consider this to be another stolen generation.
Christine, does today's apology and the ones that have happened before it help in any way for you and for the other women?
Unfortunately, I received a lot of emails from very distressed mothers and adoptees. Number one, adoptees, and there's quite a lot of adoptees now speaking out, were upset that they were left out of the apology. And mothers were upset because it's, to use an expression of one mother, it was a Clayton's apology. I mean, it is actually very traumatic to receive an apology that is making excuses at the same time. There are actual elements that should be incorporated into an apology, and that is a full acknowledgement of the injustices, acknowledgement of the damage that was caused, and sincere and deep regret. And that is then helpful. But if it is contextualised in, excuses, it was social mores, it was done in best interests, then it actually does more harm than good and traumatises the mothers and adoptees that are waiting for acknowledgement. And they want closure. They want, you can't get closure unless the perpetrator of the abuses takes full responsibility for what they have done. And also, what happened in the hospital, not allowing mothers to have access to their babies at the birth, was highly illegal. And the hospital staff were warned from 1960 onwards that not allowing the mothers access to their infants was traumatising, damaged the mother psychologically, damaged the infant physically, yet this continued. This is a human and civil rights abuse. This happened before any Adoption Act came into play. We had the common law right that we had the same rights as any other mother, whether she's married or not. We should have had complete access to our children, be able to name our children, feed our children, not be drugged with military-style mind-altering barbiturates and injected with carcinogenic hormones, and the other practices such as using a pillow or sheet in front of our faces so we could not even see our baby's face. Women were tied to the bed. Some women were tied by their arms to the sides of the bed. Some had their legs tied to the stirrups. We're talking about major human rights and civil rights abuses that, as of yet, have not been fully acknowledged by our government.
Christine, in 2007, Kevin Rudd made an apology. Oh, sorry. Brief technical problem. Won't be a sec. Christine, sorry.
No worries.
Yep.
The road to nowhere. Heavy rain and flash floods have closed Lavender's Bridge over the Bellinger River, which has burst its banks. Debris is being swept along the fast-flowing waters. Already, around 700 people have been isolated, and it's expected that number will rise. To 9 a.m. this morning, Bellinger received 168 millimetres of rain.
Christine, in 2007, Kevin Rudd made a formal apology to the stolen generation. Can I ask, is that the level of apology that we need, that unreserved federal government apology for the injustice that's occurred?
Absolutely. I mean, anybody who has gone through the experience of being drugged, tied to beds, pillows shoved in their faces, and not allowed to see their baby when they repeatedly asked to see their baby, we deserve, the same justice as was given by our government, and the same level of integrity. What's the word? If I can start that again. We deserve the same level of respect, particularly when, as I said, nearly 20% of the Indigenous stolen generation had their babies taken in the same way that we did, under the same laws, for the same reasons. Not because they were Aboriginal, but because they were unmarried. And so, yes, that's why I formed the Apology Alliance, because there were so many distressed mothers and adoptees who felt that they had been marginalised.
Christine, we really appreciate you sharing your story with us tonight. Thank you so much for coming on the project.
Thank you very much for having me and giving us the time to be able to tell our truth.
No worries. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christine.
Oh, good.
See, transfer? Yeah, I've got a report from Royal Red Runner for SD plant on server 612.
No worries, just a second. Actually, that's up on our Pres router too.
Press router 2, thanks.
Christopher Pine, it's Charlie Pickering here. Can you hear me?
Hi Charlie, I can hear you.
Terrific. You're coming through loud and clear. Thank you for your patience. Sorry, and thank you for sticking around for us. We appreciate it.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Is the child dancing in the YouTube a boy or a girl?
That is it's a boy.
It's a boy. Thank you.
It's the button.
Okay. Oh, so you're right. Thank you. I'll be in a second. We'll just get back outside.
Okay, terrific. You're right, Dole. We're going.
Yep.